So we'll start with the course now. First, before diving into SQL, we need to know what is DBMS, right? So DBMS is nothing but database management system. Okay. Now, what is a database management system? It is nothing but you have your data and it needs to be managed by a system or a set of instructions or a set of rules, right? That is what DBMS is. So if you see in this diagram, which is very well explained, so what we do have here is the relational databases. The databases is what we have here. So we have relational database, we have hierarchic database, we have flat files, or we have the objects, right? So these are nothing but the databases that we have which can store data, and data can be stored in any form. When we say relational is nothing but where you have data stored in the tabular format. So you have multiple tables and each table is joined to the other table using some relation. So it may be a salary and an employees table, so both the tables are joined using the employee ID. Okay. Or you may have a hierarchic database where you will have the highest table may be the college. For example, if you take a college system, so the highest may be the college, then below that you can have the multiple multiple tables such as the employees, the teachers, the students, right? Then we have flat files, which is just, for example, an Excel file, right? A flat file. Or you have objects database, right, where your data is considered to be objects. What are objects now? So for example, you have a car. Okay. So a car can be of various models. Okay. Now automobile, if you now consider, automobile is something which anyone can use to go from one place to the other. That is a generic class. Now, what are the types of automobiles you can have? You can have cars, you can have trucks, you can have buses, and there are many other things, right? So each of them can be considered as an object. Okay. I hope we are clear on what is the databases, the types of databases we can have. We can have many others, there are various types of databases right now in the market. So these are a few of them. Okay. So this is where my data is stored, right? This is the place. Next, we have the storage area. Okay, this is the storage area. DBMS lies between the storage area and your front end, right? So you have the back end here and you have the front end here, and this is where your DBMS lies. So what it does, it acts as an interface between the database, okay, which is stored, and the applications which you are using to access the database, right? You can't, if you are here, right, if you are the end user, you are a user here, or you are the application, so you are the user, you are using this application, you can't directly access this database. You can't, because data is stored in a very raw format. We can't do that. It is stored in a very mechanical form where you would need machine codes to access. Obviously we cannot. So we have DBMS who does this work for us. It will know where the data is stored, which we want, and it will pull that data for us. Okay, that is what DBMS does. So the interfaces which this DBMS can cater to are this. See, the first is applications. Okay, so for example, you are using some SQL, MySQL developer or SQL developer. Okay, or you are using Microsoft SQL Management Studio, right? So those are the applications by which you can access your DBMS. Or you are users who are directly, accessing DBMS. So you are using some website, for example Amazon, right, and it is accessing the database. It's its own database, right? So that is how you use as an end users. Or you can also, one DBMS can be connected to another DBMS. So sometimes this is also is needed when you have multiple databases scattered across various places. You will need multiple DBMS to interact with each other to give the user the data needed, right? Then these applications will come on top of other DBMS. Okay, so this is how your data is stored. Okay, and our data is accessed using DBMS. I hope the DBMS concept is clear by now. So we move on to the next part. Okay, next we'll see what is an ER diagram. Okay, now if you see, we spoke about the relational database, right? Which is a relational database management system is a type of DBMS with a row-based table structure. Most commercial RDBMS uses SQL. Okay. Now, what is an ER diagram and why are we talking about RDBMS for an ER diagram? Okay. Now, like I told you, RDBMS or a DBMS, okay, relational database is nothing but RDBMS. Okay. Now, when we say RDBMS, if you see, we have different tables here. If you see, we have different tables here, and each table is connected to each other, okay, using a relation. Okay, so for example, if you consider this table to be employee and this table to be salary, an employee table can be connected to the salary table either using the employee ID or using a department ID, for example. Why I am saying that? It can be a case that each department has a specific salary. Now, anyone in the employee table who is working in that department will have that salary, right? So, that is how tables are interconnected to each other. Okay. So, this is nothing but a DBMS, but each of the database is connected or each of the tables are connected to each other using a relation. That's why we call this as a relational database management system. Okay. And what is an ER now? So now you know why it is called RDBMS, right? We previously you know what was DBMS, then you understood what is RDBMS, and now we will see what is ER or entity relationship diagram. Now, entity relationship diagram is nothing but where each of the entities or so tables are also called as entities, right? So each of the entities are connected to each other via relation. Just the way I told you, like how tables are connected to each other using relation, same way entities, which are actually nothing but tables, they are connected to each other via relation. Okay, so these are ER diagrams. When you write multiple tables or multiple objects and you connect each of them with some relation, and there can be multiple, each table can be connected to multiple tables. For example, if you see this table, this is connected to all these tables using some relations. Now, there can be different kind of relations. Okay, there can be one-to-one, there can be the four types of relations that can happen in between any tables: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. Okay,